working on. It's like creative nonfiction, so it's not quite edited yet, and it's a little, hopefully it'll make some sense in the context. It's called Vandal Hearts. When I was 14, I decided to dye my hair black and blood red. It was the end of August. I'd be a freshman in a few weeks. There wasn't a specific reason. I think it had to do with feeling hot, angry, horny, dead tired of my parents all sweat, sex, and muscle fighting, hating the small, homophobic town we moved to, my stepfather's hands. "Not the face, Alan!" my mother gasped, blood rimming the white of my teeth, the metal of my braces. I lay out in our overgrown backyard, fiddling with my lips, watching the plastic sprinklers swaying back and forth like a metronome. No fence, just wild grass, weeds, blackberry bushes, and walnut trees. I gargled my mouth with warm salt water, spit it on the ground. God damn the sun. My skin itched and dribbled salt wet. While walking through the grass to turn off the sprinkler, I nearly stepped on an uncoiled rainbow. I thought, how strange to see a rainbow stretched out thin and long as a yardstick hugging the ground. This rainbow moved near my foot, and I realized it wasn't a rainbow at all, but a black garden snake refracting wet light. I thought, how possible? A million colors, a million shapes, a million creatures? What if these colors aren't rainbows at all? Perhaps moonbows exist too. Why doesn't anyone around me ever speak of the dark blue greens and black reds that shimmer from a moonbow? The purple juice of rotting plums have a language color all their own, like the iridescent spectrum that glimmers on an oil slick in a parking lot. Rainbows and moonbows shine under the same sun. Yet no one's ever said anything to me about the deep sparkle of black or the deep blood of phosphorescent night. Changing my hair color was the first self-conscious transformation, the first fluttering from my life as girl child toward young adult. My hair marking the point where I subconsciously knew. It still had no words for the hard stories that shaped me into the present. Like, here marks the spots, black and red like bloodstains, where I can name the wrongs, count the still fresh scars, and rebel the overculture in order to shape myself anew. Up until this point, no one wanted to be like me at school. I was short, severely underweight, had crooked teeth, braces, an awkward haircut with hormones curling it in every wrong direction. I had just moved the year prior to a small town in Oregon from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Where I'd been to school before, no one cared about brands of clothing or car models. In this new place we lived, the majority of girls had blonde hair, tans, ponytails, Coca-Cola t-shirts, and chicken claw bangs, they called them. After PE, they crowded around the mirrors, a plume of Aquanet hovering over their heads. I tried it for a few days, bought a spray bottle of Sun-In to hopefully turn my wavy Mediterranean brown hair blonde. I ended up with auburn hair and orange eyebrows. I joined the junior varsity cheerleading team until the slumber party controversy involving French kissing to just practice for the boys. Then I was banned from the church youth group after word got around. I ran up a $300 phone bill at home and at school using a payphone to call 1-800-sex hotlines. At home, I'd accidentally set the carpet in my bedroom on fire. I decided to burn some letters and photos of my family in a coffee can on the floor, not realizing the mess I was creating. I dumped a dishpan of water onto the spot and opened all the windows. I pushed my mattress over the burn spot and hoped no one would notice. And I spent the last few weeks picking strawberries. Some of the girls from my cheerleading team were supposed to show up, but no one came. I woke at 5 a.m. nearly every day of summer vacation, packed a sandwich in a water thermos, and waited on the dark street corner for this bus. I received some long stares and was a little scared to be the only white girl on a bus with mostly male migrant workers. My skin itched and I sneezed all day from hay fever. I developed hive welts the size of $50 on my neck and arms. I worked and scraped on my knees near a Mexican woman with her kids, their fingers plucking and sorting berries with the precision of a high-paid surgeon. With burnt skin and stained hands, I'd suck in all my breath to carry my crates to the front to get paid. I was so irritated my girlfriends from the cheerleading team didn't have the tits to show up as promised. At 14, I was a disaster waiting to happen. Maybe the tipping point of my transformation was the ear infection I got left untreated. A pain tickle, starting at 9 p.m. I went to sleep, woke at midnight, the pain worse. At 2 a.m., I woke my parents to take me to the emergency room. My stepfather rage lunged from the bed into my face on my 5th try of waking them. "Why won't you wake up and take me to the emergency room?" I'm practically drinking my tears from the pain, like boiled daggers turning deep into my ears. I go back to bed for 10 minutes. Have you ever tried to reason with your pain? Talk to it, try a little logos on it, or maybe pray to whatever gods will listen. Beg confused from your nightbed why no one loves you. You're a child, you're a virgin. You love your siblings so much and take your sister everywhere you go. You have your own job, you walk a mile every day to catch the nearest bus to your job. Your friend's house, your dentist appointments, to pay the disconnected phone bill your mother didn't pay. Fuck this. Again, I try to wake my mother. I shake her shoulder, try to whisper her so Rage Dad won't notice. He jumps up anyway. My eyes have grown accustomed to the dark. He can't see what I see. His flaccid sex, sweat stuck to his balls, unglues while he's shaking my arms, ordering me back to bed. No, fuck you. Eyes deadlocked. He thinks he can blow fire, tarred. Maybe he's just a jerk because I won't let him love me the way other daughters would. I knuckle out my fist and Charlie horse my mother in the arm. She cries and wants to know why I'm hurting her. It's not fair. She's still asleep. She has to work so early. She tries to reason with a crying, ear-infected 14-year-old girl, while it's unfair for me to expect medical treatment. At 4 a.m., I sit tear-washed and red-eared in the emergency waiting room with my mother who keeps asking, tisking and rolling her eyes. Oh, Madonna mia. Oh. After an hour of waiting for amoxicillin and painkillers, the Vicodin washes over all the red. I breathe blue vanilla breath as we leave the hospital at dawn. Or maybe the tipping point was getting dumped by my first boyfriend. He learned about me making out with the junior varsity cheerleading team at a slumber party. It was before he and I went out, to be honest, I was surprised he'd even care. He wore more makeup than me, borrowed my eyeliner for Christ's sake. His family had a lot of money. He had a snotty sister with new wave hair and a black leather jacket. They were from Chicago. He made me mixtapes with The Cure and psychedelic furs. He called me a lesbian bitch, and that was that. Soon after, the cheerleading moms gathered to discuss the incident. I was politely told not to come to tryouts in the fall. I lost who I thought were my friends. My home is not safe. People who seemed progressive were dilettantes. To top it off, a group of boys who'd heard about me locking lips with cheerleaders jumped out of some bushes and cracked eggs on my head. I walked home, face baking under the sun, tears sticking to the egg yolks. And then a strange and wonderful thing happened. I started to get to know the girls in my working-class neighborhood. Fuck school. Delia Martinez, whose strict father had his tongue cut out in Mexico during the 1970s for reasons no one would talk about, and her conservative Catholic home shaving her legs and using tampons were acts of rebellion and body ownership. There was Julie, the fat lesbian I slow danced with in her room while she played some Krista Berg song over and over and over again, trying to forget about her mother's blonde feathered chain smoking, her fat jokes, her box wine breath, her dangling earrings, and all these pot-filled nights with strange men coming and going. Amy, the 5'10", 200-pound muscle-bound rocker chick with hair bigger than Tawny Katane and Deborah Coverdale put together, and her own drug business. At the school dance, Amy jumped on stage, practically knocking down the bony rocker dudes when Bon Jovi played. She whipped her hair back and forth, playing guitar like it was her cock, and walked me home from school when some lesser rocker chick threatened to kick my ass for making out with some guy they liked. And there was Debbie, the school slut who lived in squalor with her obese single mom and depressed sister. Debbie and I roamed the streets at night, smoked weed from a can, and hatched a plan to get even with the conservative Christian town that made our lives a living hell. So that night I snuck into my room where my stepfather kept his rifles and Civil War relic collection. In a box near a stuffed elk head was a box of porno magazines. I delicately sifted through each page, tearing out the most vulgar images I could find. Before we desecrated our holy city, Debbie and I rode the bus into Portland. We spent the day at record shops, buying silver rings, black nail polish, and hair dye. We tried on corsets and leather pants at Spartacus, got our noses pierced. There seemed to be a brand new trend in town. Girls with shaved heads, safety pins, and concert t-shirts, zippers, band-aids. We walked past a punk salon called Dare to be Different. 3 girls were already in chairs getting their long locks sheared off. Debbie went for it. At least she had the nerve to admit she wanted to replicate the punk aesthetic. I guess Debbie and I needed our bodies to tell a different version of rebel. A bald head just didn't express the pain living on both sides of my skin. I wanted my hair to look as raw as a hemoglobin, a blood stain you can't erase. I'd been rejected enough. I didn't want to carry on the tradition. At 1 a.m. on a Sunday night, we congregated near the railroad tracks that cut through the pines in Tumian town. Amy, Delia, Debbie, and yours truly. We walked the train tracks to meet my ex-boyfriend who dumped me. He still liked me, I guess. He showed up in full makeup and a pillowcase full of bedlam. We started with the boys' homes who cracked eggs on my heads. One lived in a house on the historical register, a big white house. His His parents bought a new Camry and left the window sticker on for 2 months just so everyone could see how much they spent on it. We superglued porn to their side view mirrors. We smeared vaginas on church doors, gay popcorn on ATMs, squirted sexy words with mustard on sidewalks and driveways, confettied Main Street with page upon page of every position possible. We glued granny dykes with strap-ons on the windows of a retirement community. On the Mason building in the Elks Lodge, tits and buttholes, cocks and open labias, hair grown out of women's anuses, men with 2 dicks, Asian minors, bestiality, back-haired farmers screwing disabled women. By 4 a.m., police had been dispatched. My ex-boyfriend took off through the woods, ran home along the train tracks. Coward. Debbie and Amy ran into their houses since we were right near them. Delia and I hid behind parked cars, trying to muffle laughter at the cop's voice echoing over the intercom. We made a beeline through the trees through some houses. The cop came running after us with a German Shepherd on a leash. By the time I ended up at home, it was 5 a.m. The cop pulled me out of handcuffs and delivered me to my mother's doorstep. So I wrote this because I feel another transformation coming on. I'm on the cusp of turning 40. There's so much that's happened in my life between 14 and 39. I want to say that I've worked through it all, that I'm different now. But it's not always true. I have to work at not having rage. More than most people sometimes, I think. Lap swimming is enough. I run the elliptical treadmill, walk laps around the track at the park, meditate and hum to dig out the deep heart roots of sadness. I sweat it out in the sauna, cool down in the pool. It exhausts me physically. Every night I fall asleep and think I've done it. I've cured my rage, evaporated my tears. Yet in the morning when I wake, the fire springs back to life, burning quick and hot as a lake of fire. I've decided I'm not doing this shit anymore, slicing myself along a stone-cold edge of twisting myself like a dead angelfish in the coldest part of the ocean. I have no desire to make room for the dream model of American beauty, to be a good girl. My tits are swollen and ache like a bad motherfuck. My hair is fire roasted with sparks of silver. All I know is a woman coming to her senses can set off a lot of fire alarms.